So I figure I might as well put something out, and this will be mainly on CSD3. But like I said, just to put something out, if you don't know what I'm doing, I'm basically just practicing. I haven't made it, in terms of actual progress in this game, I haven't really gone anywhere. But that's for good reason, because, I don't know, I guess this is just to go over more my kind of, how do I say, trying to be a perfectionist, I guess. I don't really like to move on with it unless I perfect something, which is kind of strange, but what I'm doing is basically in the background I have a text editor open, and I'm basically just trying to memorize these things in kind of, if you know what I'm doing, you do know what I'm doing, but to try to explain it, yeah, like I said, there's a way to kind of perfectly go through these things, kind of pseudo-ish. And the main reason is because if you don't know, Cook Serve Delicious is all, some people call it a typing game, other call it a memorization game, muscle memory. In this particular case, I've set my keys up because you can do that for each ingredient, like you see on the screen right there. It says press F1 to change your key binding, and therefore you can change these things to whatever you want. The game by default, based on the developer, they have key binded things to a default where usually, you know, most things are on a first, so tofu might be T, wakame might be W, but some things have, so I think carrots is like usually A, and not C as some would like to believe, but that's for, again, more, not intelligent purposes, but kind of, I guess, the flow to try to explain it. I'm not really the best at explaining it, but what I'm doing right now is basically kind of, putting in the keys that I'm supposed to put in. That way, when I actually do these recipes in game, where I'm going through a road or a specific path, then I can do them much more quickly, because if you don't do them quickly, you fail, and or you don't get a perfect score, and in some cases, you don't even get a medal. Medals are what you need to progress in this game, and therefore, that's why I'm kind of going through. So, if I'm looking at this right now, I'm currently in the first screen right here, which is the leftmost or the blue screen. So if I'm taking note of these ingredients, to me it would be X, C, A, S, D, Q, W. And basically, if I wanted to be fast, I would just hit these in really quick motion like this. And that's what I would do. For those who are veterans or experienced with Cook Serve Delicious, you know what this is, but again, I'm explaining it for people who may not know, which is why when you see me in a future video, this might even be like my primer, quote-unquote, video to kind of introduce people to Cook Serve Delicious 3 in terms of how I'm playing it, and with the current series or project I'm working on. Yeah, that's basically what I'm, this is all training, so I do better in that series, or just do better in this game if I decide to play this game more. So on this next screen here, it would be Z, X, C, A, S, D, ASQ, sorry, because we don't put a raw egg, only a fried egg, but you can put both of them, but it really depends, because if you see, oh, never mind, I just messed up. Because I set mine to, serve on that key. But yeah, this is basically what I'm doing for the rest of this video, at least trying to learn. This is only one recipe too, or one 5-star or 5 rating 5 recipe, whatever you want to call it, tier 5 food, because each tier, obviously 0 to 1, 0 or 1 are the easiest tiers. You don't need to memorize anything, but what I was saying right here is here it says 4 tofu sunset. So if you look right here, I think I have my mouse on screen. This is the 4th recipe in X number of recipes. The last time I was doing deluxe poutine had 11 different recipes. So once you know the recipe, if you can memorize it or you have the muscle memory, you can kind of just go through and just hit whatever you want, or hit the ingredients you need, because it will never change. The problem is that there's at least, like, usually for tier 5, there's more than like 5 or 6, and so memorizing all of them for just one recipe, and this game you're putting several recipes up on the board, it can be a bit much. But obviously once you get more accustomed to how it goes, how it works, then you can kind of just go through and just put your ingredients in and be kind of more comfortable with getting them right. Again, you have to do this dozens of times in a single road or level, shall we say. And if you mess up one, then you don't get the perfect score, or you don't get a gold medal in this game, is what it is. And that, yeah, that really can mess with people. For me, I guess you can call me a perfectionist in that way. I don't really like to call myself that, but I mean, I guess based on what I'm doing right now, I mean, yeah, it's... Yeah, what else can I say? So, and as I go through the actual, basically, training series that I'm going, or the series that I'm going through, I think I'm going to stick with these for now until I get on the road. That way I can be more familiar with what I'm doing. So again, if I were to pretend that I'm doing it right now, I would probably hit it like this, move on, hit this, and then move on, hit this, and then you see for those who don't know this game, if you get yellow smiley faces like that, and especially if you see perfect combo increase, your combo increases, then you did the dish perfectly. You haven't made any mistakes. If you make any mistakes at all, your perfect combo goes away, and well, you just kind of move on to the next one, or you restart in the case that you're trying to get a perfect day or a gold medal. So, yeah. So again, what I'm doing in the background, I probably could switch to it, or I'll show it on screen right now. It's basically just making a big list. That way, when I go through, I won't try to hide it. I'll probably be using it, but when I say I don't use it, there's no way for you to like know that I'm doing that. So you just have me on the honor system. But I mean, yeah. So let's see here. So that would be this. I mean, if I see all 7 ingredients, I kind of just know I have to go with all of them. But again, it depends on the recipe. So here it's ZX. ASDQW, because once you remove one, since I know there's only 7, and once I remove the one that's not in there, I can just hit the others comfortably. Again, I'm doing it in the background, but I would do it like this. And that should be it, because the only one I don't have is... Oh, never mind, I messed up. I wasn't supposed to put tofu in, but you get what I mean. And so I'm doing this in the background, so there's ZCASDQW. Move on. This is going to be... You'll see... For those who don't know this game, you'll see what happens. But, and then this next page would be ZXCADQ. I might as well go through the motions. And then last, you just put the last 2. Usually, sometimes it doesn't include it, but that's, again, you knowing the recipe for the dish that you're on right now. So, yeah, they didn't like that. And we keep moving on, and depending on how much, I think this one only has 4, but still, you have to remember all these, and the difficulty of it is basically based on its rating. So, or as a game developer, you would probably go the other way based on how complicated you think the recipe is. You give it the rating, and then you move on from there. So again, XCAS, you set it cooking, and then this game has it's bit more complexity in that you have to wait for the dishes to cook, and then you have to finally prepare them after they finish cooking. So again, you're not only working on one dish, maybe there are like 6 other dishes you have to do. Right now I have 10 stations right here, but it is what it is. CXADQW, move on. I probably didn't even say that right, but and then once I do that, I kind of memorize. And then basically what I would do is just go through this over and over. Optimally, I want to cook all of these dishes or what I would do is I have all these dishes ready, and then I would go through and try to finish them all before any of them burn. At least how it is right here. Granted, in game it works differently, but again, for a training exercise, for me personally, that's what I would do. I think I messed up here. No, I didn't. So as you can see right here, I'm already kind of slow here, but... and if you mess up during the preparation, then, well, it doesn't really matter what you... Well, it does matter, but you won't get a perfect score is what I mean. So... You see ASDQ. So right now I'm looking outside of the game to see if when I put in the sequence of keys I need to press for me specifically, then I will be getting the dish right, which is what I did. Again, the added level of complexity is dependent on your keybind, or in my case, dependent on my actual setup, because I'm sitting here with a mic between me, which is why my setup is to the closer to universal keys, but still it's per ingredient. I set mine to per ingredient, that way I have a flexibility to it. So again, optimally, I want to do something. So let's just go through the motions really quick, because I think I have all of the keys I can. So this is what I would do. I would go through, try to cook these as fast as possible. I would also have I messed up there, but I would also have a timer going on. I think I have live split open right now, but for the purpose of this, I mean, if you're on YouTube, you can kind of tell I'm already moving slow. I know I'm moving slow. I could also do it based on what I see down there. So yeah, if I see there's 5 right there, I don't need to wait. And usually it's only missing the garlic beef, so I don't have to hit Z at all. But again, The complexity is that I need to get it right. I accidentally hit a button there. That was on me. Move on. Move on as if we didn't... And I can just review the footage, but I'm already kind of moving slow. So, oh my goodness. I can feel it. I've also kind of messed up one of mine, and all of these are going to burn, so big rip. Because, yeah, and this is all based on kind of me practicing here and there, making sure that I can do everything in time, and if I can't, then I just keep moving on until, well, I can do everything and make it do it all. So again, I'm just gonna let them burn. I'm even just gonna drop this one because you kind of get the idea by now what I'm trying to do, or at least if I were to, even if I were practicing this on my own, I wasn't making this for a video or anything. This is how I'm practicing the dishes in Cook Serve Delicious 3. I just go through them all and I try to cook them all at the same time. Once I get that done, then I go through and try to do it a certain number of times without tripping up. Once I feel a lot more comfortable, then I kind of just take down the recipe master list I have in the background and try to do it by memory. And then I do that. And obviously the end game is to do this all during a level, because obviously you're not always cooking the same dish. So if I don't have bibimbap coming up, but instead I have, say, deluxe poutine, then I have to remember all the recipes and kind of put them in. But that's the complexity of Cook Serve Delicious 3. So I do recommend people get this game. It's a pretty fun game, but if you don't like, again, you don't have to play like I do. You can kind of take it easy. Even starting out, you don't have to start out with tier 5 dishes. In fact, you're perfectly just fine with max level 2 dishes. That way you can still at least get some money and currency going forward, but it's a fun game. It's a fun game. I highly recommend this game. So, yeah, without further ado, this is kind of just my... I don't know what I'm going to call it, but I'll call it something. But for Cook Serve Delicious 3, this is what it is. I won't take up more of your time. Support me if you want to support me. I would thank you very much. Otherwise, JRDN MML, I'm out.